Okay, so there's this really interesting question that I wanted to attack and tackle, which was asking about why do women ask for divorce more than men? Why do women ask for divorce more than men? So, a study in 2015 found that 69% of all divorce cases were initiated by the woman. Before we get into this, one of the things that's already made me laugh about divorce is that if a man asks, did you know something? This fascinates me. If a man asks for a divorce, the divorce will take longer to go through than if a woman asks for a divorce. Partly because most people are going to ask the man, well, what's wrong with you? Have you done what you're supposed to do for your marriage? Whereas if a woman asks for a divorce, naturally, they kind of don't really ask for questions. They either presume, oh, the man must have cheated or something like that. So it's quite interesting when I was doing my research and I was talking to couples and stuff like that. That was something that was quite fascinating for me. But anyway, I wanted to talk about some of the reasons that lead women to be the ones that end up asking for divorce. I hope that you can find it useful in some way. I've wrote down loads of notes here, and I'm just going to start going through them and talking to you about it. Okay, so first one is that a lot of women crave three things. Women crave connection, appreciation, and respect. And quite literally, men stop doing them. Okay? So there is a difference between what women want and what women need. A lot of women, and I'm going to make some generalizations here, so bear with me because I can't talk about every single woman specifically, so I need to make some generalizations. As a general rule, most women are taught to be small. Okay, society teaches women to play small, to diminish themselves, to put other people first, to look after their man, and never to actually care about their needs, about what they need. Okay, as long as they get what they want, as long as a woman gets a really successful man, then that's the be and all. Right? It doesn't matter about if that man is fulfilling her sexual needs or whatever. And so women, particularly when women are younger, the younger a woman is, the more likely she is to try and please a man. As women develop and they get older, it begins to swap about, where a woman starts coming into her own. She starts figuring out what she likes, what she doesn't like, what she needs, right? And particularly as a woman gets older, what she needs becomes much more relevant to her in her life. Whereas it's actually the reverse for a man. Men are go after a lot more about what they need the younger they are, and a lot more about what they want the older that they become. So, let's look at this. Connection, appreciation, and respect. All of these things are things that men are not taught about women. These are fundamental, basic things that women want across the board. And a lot of men are not taught to give those to women. Men are told you need to make loads of money, you need to be successful, you need to have good looks. But men are not taught in their families how to find connection with their missus, how to appreciate their missus, how to respect a woman. Men just aren't shown. So as a result, as the relationship develops, women get less and less and less of these, and it gets to the point where a woman is just like, this is ridiculous. I've given this man everything. I've been married to him. I've given him blowies. I've taken the kids to school. I've cooked the food. I look after the house, and yet I'm not appreciated. We don't have an emotional connection. He doesn't remember the small things about me that really matter to me. He doesn't thank me. He doesn't even respect me. He just leaves his boxes across the room. He doesn't make the bed in the morning. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And a woman's just like, why should I stay in this? That's one of the reasons why the woman ends up going for it. Filing for divorce. Now here is linked to the second thing that I want to share with you because this is important. One of the other reasons why women tend to end up asking for the divorce is because men do not get the gravitas of situations until it's too late. Most men just simply don't pay attention to the gravitas of things. We're too casual. When we hear a woman complaining about We should go counseling, or we're not having sex, babe. Shall we try to do something about it? Shall we try to do things? Men don't understand that this is like a 10 to a woman, whereas for them it's just like, oh, this is just another one of her moaning. It's like a 4. And so what ends up happening is this mix and match where the woman is putting in 100%. She's going to counseling, and when she's in counseling, she's putting in 100%. If their sex life is really shit, she's doing these amazing things. She's dressing up in new things. She's going to bed naked or wearing a sexy lingerie. But the man is just not seeing it. He's just not paying attention to it. So that's one of the second things that I would share with you. A lot of men just don't get this, and they miss all the signs. They miss all the flags. They miss all of these gestures and the gravitas of what this woman is trying to get them to see. And then it gets to the point where the woman says, fuck this. I've done everything. Why should I have to continue doing this and giving all of this when I get nothing in return? He's putting in 10%, I'm putting in 100. It's just not working. I feel like I'm his mother. Or that's a common phrase that you hear. Or I feel like I'm the only one in this relationship. Another common phrase a lot of women use when they're on that path to getting divorced. Here's another one. Men don't like to fail. So I wrote down here something that I found interesting. Men put out their problems on the woman through continuous torture or physical and psychological abuse. What does that mean? That means that men basically would rather drag a woman and prolong the fact that they know that she wants to get divorced. They know that she's not happy, but they won't ask her for the divorce. And so what they will do is that they will psychologically start torturing her and start fucking with her by having an affair, going out and living as if they're living their own independent life, spending money as they wish, forgetting really important dates like their birthday. Like, it's psychological torture to do this sort of stuff to somebody who you live in a house with. And this doesn't go on for like once or twice. This goes on for like a sustained period of time of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years sometimes, right? And talking about physical abuse, men have a habit of putting out their problems that they're experiencing, whether that be in work or that be with depression. Instead of going and seeking help, they go and put it out on their woman. And then the woman's like, well, it must have been something that I've done then, because otherwise why would he be doing this? We've been married for 5 years, everything's been okay, and he just punched me. Well, clearly I must have done something. And now, again, the woman is the victim. Now, again, the woman is being the subject to a man's problems, which he refuses to deal with. So the fact that a lot of men don't want to fail, they don't want to be seen to be weak, ends up with this woman staying in this relationship where she feels trapped and she wants out, but the man won't let her out. And it drags on and drags on to the point where it's just like, this is ridiculous, this is crazy, this is mad. And eventually, the woman asks for a divorce. What else have we got here? We've got another reason here where one of the things that tends to happen, and particularly when it comes to couples who are where the woman works the majority of the time, is that if the woman works the majority of the time, what will end up happening is that the more a woman earns, the higher chance of divorce that actually arises. Partly because the woman doesn't really need the man. One of the major reasons why a woman marries a man, and you may say, oh, Kasim, that's stupid, I'm married for love, it's a lot of bollocks. One of the major reasons a woman marries a man is because of security. Security how? Security in terms of finances. I've said previously before that a lot of women, when they get past age 30, they don't want to work, okay? Because their main goal is to provide for their children, to be at home with their children, so that they don't get mum guilt. But a very small minority of women want to succeed. They want to take care of themselves. And so because a lot of women tend to want to be at home and want to look after their kids, somebody has to pay the bills. That's part of the reason why they need the man. They need the man in their life. And a lot of men don't get this. A lot of men don't clock this. And so as the woman, if a woman's one of the minority and she's been working and her career is progressing, she doesn't need you for finances. And when you combine that with the fact that her needs are not being met, why the hell would she stay with you? It doesn't make sense. So of course, more women are going to go and file for divorce. Another reason that I found is sexual fantasies. So a major reason why women end up having to ask for divorce is the fact that a lot of men do not communicate their sexual fantasies. Clearly, sex and the things that happen in the bedroom, intimacy, is a really major, it's one of the reasons why people do divorce, right? Sex. The lack of sex is a huge factor in a lot of people's relationships. And a lot of men have sexual desires that they need fulfilling. Unfortunately, they won't communicate that to their wives. They won't communicate that to their partner, to their spouse. And so what ends up happening is you end up going outside of the bedroom, and then of course what ends up happening is an affair starts developing. And the thing about affairs is affairs start off really small, and then they exaggerate and they expand it to the point where all of a sudden you have a full-on affair, where it only started with a hookup or something like that. So what I would share with you is if you are in a relationship and you do have fantasies, share them with your missus. You know, one of the things that I've tried to explain to men on several occasions, and I find, and I'm still struggling to communicate it to men, is that I want to try to get men to understand women are far much more sexual than men are. Women are far much more kinkier and dirtier than men are. Now, men, I would say on a general rule, are filthier, as in men are men, we want to get involved with things like wee and peeing and stuff like that. But when it comes to sexual positions, having sex outside, having sex in the car, women are a lot more, things like role play, 69, I don't know, dressing up. Women are a lot more up for it than men are. Men want to keep the same position, they want to do it in the same place, they want to do it at the same time, they have the routine. But in fact, one of the things that you hear a lot from women about their sexual activity is that women, they're like, I just want him to be more fun, I want to try more things, I want him to be more spontaneous, more adventurous. What does that mean? Can we try different things instead of doing the same thing over and over and over and over again over years, right? And men are too scared to try it. So that's some of the reasons why people end up, why the woman ends up having to ask for the divorce. I don't know whether you found it in your relationship or not. I'd actually love to hear from you, so comment below, send me a message. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.